and welcome everyone. This is me, Bronya Haji, a teacher at Derdewan Secondary Girls School. Today, we are going to talk about present passive. In order to change sentences into present passive, you need a mastery in present simple tense and the past participle forms of the verb. So, if you have any doubts about any of these, please make a brief revision before watching this video. Let's start with our lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to: number 1, identify the present passive tense. Number 2, change the sentences into passive voice correctly. In our lesson, we are going to answer the following questions. Question number 1, when do we use present passive? Number 2, why do we use present passive? Number 3, what are the steps to change an active sentence into passive? Number 4, how to form a negative present passive sentence. And at the end, we will see what is the agent. Let's start with our question. Question number 1, when do we use present passive? Number 1, to talk about something done by someone regularly, every day, or as expected. For example, the farmer waters the flowers every evening. If I change it to passive, it will be the flowers are watered in the evening. Number 2, to focus on the action, not on the subject. How is that? I have an example. They write many stories every year. If I change it to passive, it will be many stories are written every year. So, I don't care who writes those stories. I care about the action itself. Let's continue. Why do we use present passive? I use present passive for 2 reasons here. Reason number 1, to describe. Describe what? Describe a processes. How is that? If I ask someone, how do you make an apple juice? He may say, apples are baked, then they are cleaned, etc. So, he's describing the process itself. B, I will use it to describe general thoughts, beliefs, or opinions. For us as a Palestinian, I may say, Jerusalem is considered as one of the most important cities ever. This is our opinion. Next, reason number 2, when it's obvious to the listener or the reader who is the subject, because he's the person who usually does it. An example, doctors usually help patients. Doctors usually help patients. If I change it to passive, it will be patients are usually helped. I know and you know that those patients are helped by the doctor. So it's obvious to the listener and the speaker. The next question, and this is important. What are the steps to change an active sentence to passive? Concentrate, please. Number 1, we should identify the subject, the verb, and the object. Let's look at this example. He usually checks the emails in the evening. Let's start to identify the subject. Where's the subject? He. He is the subject. Checks is the verb, and the emails is the object. Step number 2, move the object in the active sentence to be the subject in the passive sentence. Where's the object in the active sentence? The active sentence is, he usually checks the emails in the evening. The object is the emails. So I move it to become the subject in the passive sentence. Step number 3, identify the verb tense in the active sentence. The verb is checks. What is the verb tense? It is present simple verb. Next step, add a suitable auxiliary verb to be verb. Since we are talking about present, I will have is or am or are. If I'm talking about singular nouns like door, like table, like a window, I will use is. If I'm talking about plural nouns, I will use are. If I have windows, doors, boys, etc. And if I have I will use am. Let's go back to our sentence. Our object is emails. Emails, is it singular or plural? It is plural. So I have to use are. The emails are. Then the last step is to provide the past participle of the main verb in the active sentence. The verb that we have here is check. What is the past participle of check? It is checked. So our passive sentence here is emails are checked in the evening. Clear? Okay, let's continue. As a conclusion, to change an active sentence into passive, you have to follow this simple rule. You have to start with an object plus is or are plus verb 3 or verb past participle. Now, let's try to change those sentences into passive. Sentence number 1. Concentrate, please. Sentence number 1. The teachers help the new students. As a beginning, where's the subject? The subject is teachers. The verb is help. And the object is the new students. So, I will move the object. The object is the new students. The new students, I will ask myself, is it singular or plural? It is plural. So, the new students are. Then I will circle help. Help is our main verb. I have to change it into past participle. So, our passive sentence here is the new students are helped. Okay? Next sentence. The postman delivers the mail. I will look for the object. My object is the mail. The mail, is it singular or plural? It is singular. So I will use the mail is. And then I will look for the verb. Delivers is my present simple verb. I will change it to past participle. So the sentence will be in the passive. The mail is delivered. Next sentence. Many people read political articles. The subject is many people. Read is my simple verb tense and political articles is the object. I will move the object. Political articles are read. Next sentence. Kids always eat candies. Where's the object? Candies is the object. I will move it to be the subject in my passive voice sentence. So, candies are eaten. The last sentence, my best friend paint incredible pictures. My best friend is the subject. Paint is the verb, the present simple verb. And incredible picture is the object. So, to change it to passive, I will say, incredible pictures are painted. Okay? Let's continue. Now, we will talk about how to form a negative present passive sentence. To form the negative, you have to use isn't for singular nouns and aren't for plural nouns. Then follow the auxiliary with past participle form of the verb. So the rule that you will have to change any sentence into negative present passive is object plus isn't or aren't plus verb past participle. I have examples here. Please follow. Number 1. This is an active sentence. You don't wash the car every week. You is the subject. Don't wash is the verb. The car is the object. I have to change it to the passive. To change it to the passive, I will start with the car isn't washed every week. I change it to negative. Number 2, you don't build your house. You is the subject. Don't build is the verb. Your house is the object. Change it to passive. Your house isn't built. I use the past participle form of the verb. Okay, next sentence. They don't eat the apples. They is the subject. Don't eat is the verb. The apples is the object. To change it to passive, I will start with this object. It will become my subject in the passive sentence. The apples aren't eaten. Next sentence. He doesn't watch TV in the evening. He is the subject. Doesn't watch is the verb. TV is the object. Change it to passive. Start with the object in the active sentence. TV isn't watched in the evening. Now, we will ask ourselves, what is the agent that we mentioned now? When we change the active sentence into passive, we move the object to be the subject. The question here, what happened to the subject in the active sentence? The subject in the active sentence will be the agent in the passive sentence, but we will use by before it. I have a question here. Do I have to use it in all sentences? The answer is no. Sometimes I just drop it because it is not important. Let's take an example. The farmer waters the flowers. Okay? As I said, I will start with the object in the active sentence. So, the flowers are watered by the farmer. The farmer here is the agent in the passive sentence. But if the subject is a pronoun, if the subject in the active sentence is a pronoun, we have to follow the following table to write the agent in the passive sentence. If I have I in the active sentence, it will be me. If I have you, it will be you. If I have he, it will be him. If I have she, it will be her. It's like an example. If I say she waters the flowers, when I change it to passive, it will be the flowers are watered by her. This is my agent. If I have we, I will change it in the passive to be us. For example, the same example. We water the flowers. It will be the flowers are watered by us. Us is the agent here. And they, if I have they, I will change it to be them. Okay, now it's your turn. This is a worksheet. In this worksheet, you have 2 missions. Mission number 1, to choose the correct answer. Number 1, the most expensive smartphones are sold or sells by Apple Company. Number 2, bananas are growing or are grown in Jericho. Number 3, the information is sent by or with a computer. Number 4, turkey tea don't drink or isn't drunk with milk. Next, French language teaches or is taught in many schools in Palestine. Mission number 2, change the following sentences into passive voice. Number 1, we usually publish bad news more than good news. Number 2, they play a lot of modern music on this radio. Number 3, my mother doesn't paint the walls. Before, people speak English all over the world. Next, hotel management asks all the guests to check out before noon. At the end, I will say education is your key for success. So, study hard, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best thing in entire life. That's all for today. I hope that you have learned a lot. Have a great day.